Hi everyone. We thank God for being God. We thank God for His love. We thank God for His mercy. We thank God for those who have subscribed on our YouTube channel, Rightful Position, a channel which is dedicated to ensure that it makes the world a better place for everyone by first bettering ourselves to better others by and through the Word of God. Thank you for tuning in, and if you are tuning in for the first time for our post, we ask you to subscribe on our channel and be part and parcel of the Rightful Position family. Saints of God, I just want us to share the good news on Psalms 119 verse 148, and then we'll read 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 7, and then we'll read Galatians 5:16 and 17. We'll read from the New Century Version, NCV. Our title today is that you are my hiding place. God is our hiding place. We wanna trust in Him because He is our hiding place. So Psalm 119 verse 148 says, I stay awake all night so I can think about your promises. I stay awake all night so I can think about your promises. 2 Corinthians 5:7 says, we live by what we believe, not by what we see. Galatians 5:16 and 17 says, so I tell you, live by following the Spirit. Then you will not do what your sinful selves want. Our sinful selves want what is against the Spirit, and the Spirit wants what is against our sinful selves. The two are against each other, so you cannot do just what you please. Saints of God, I was noting in the past few days, and I said to myself, you know what? I just want to disregard or pause the word of God for some seconds, and I just wanted to live by what I see for a few minutes, and I said to myself, let me just take things as they are, and the battle was happening inside my mind. It was happening inside my heart. It was stomached by my soul. So I was just sitting, and there was this battle against the spirit and the sinful self. So the sinful self was telling me, I just wanted to stop living by the spirit, and I wanted to accommodate my sinful self. And then I just took a glance outside the word of God, outside His promises, outside of what I believe, and I just had a glance at the world without His promises, a world without believing. And all I can say that I saw that was labored in my spirit was that it is scary out there. It's scary out there. Outside the word of God is scary. The things that I saw depression, I saw regret, I saw confusion, I saw self-pity. I saw hopelessness. I felt pessimistic. You know, I felt anxious outside his promises and outside of what I believe. And that has happened. It does not start by me, because when you look at the story in Genesis chapter 3, where where Adam and Eve decide to succumb on on the on the evil on the evil on the evil plans of the devil, where they chose to eat what God had said they must not eat. The word of God there says immediately they ate that fruit from that tree, they, it was like their eyes were opened. They saw that they were naked and immediately rushed for fig tree leaves to cover themselves. So sense of God. But one must say, but before they followed their sinful selves, when they were living for the spirit, when they lived according to the demands of the spirit, according to the demands of God. It's amazing that they never realized that they were naked, because sense of God, once we remove our eyes from the from his promises, once we move our eyes from believing, then we are in trouble. It's when we realize our weaknesses, because sense of God, fixing our eyes on God or on his word, his promises, or on living by faith, living by what we believe, it really helps us, because God, his word, his promises, what we believe covers our weaknesses. So sense of God, I'm, I'm happy to share with you that one of the important things for me when I read the Psalms where it says, I stay awake all night so I can think about your promises. Sense of God, for me, for even some of believers out there, I think what's keeping them, it's not that all things are going according to plan. It's not like they have the world on their hands. It's not that they have realized their full potential. It's not like there are no signals that they should give up. It's not like there are no signals that it is not going to work out. It's not it's not like they're not feeling that they're out of time. It's never going to happen for them. But saints of God, one of the major things David lived with, David was a man who was always pursued. He had a lot of enemies. People wanted to kill him. People wanted him dead, and they were not ready. They were not ready to give up until they have killed him. So sense of God, and you are amazed how this guy lived a joyful life. You can hear in some of your psalms says, "This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it." This guy says in his presence there is fullness of joy. This guy is one of the guy who was excited about life. But when you look at the things he faced, you question yourself, how can you have so much enemies and say and look forward to days instead of wishing to die? Psalm 40 says, I'm not going to die, but I will live. How can someone want to live in in a battlefield? The guy is always pursued. But here is this one of the secrets that he wrote to us. He says, I'll stay all night so I can think about your promises. So some version says, so that I can think, I can meditate on your word. So, saints of God, when we think about what God can do, it really helps us, or it disengages us from the demands of the world. Because, saints of God, we are Christians, and being Christians means that we always come with something extra. We do not do what an average or an ordinary person does when he's facing troubles. But for us, we react according to the guidance of the Word of God. And the guidance of the Word of God are His promises. We react from His promises, not from the situation, not from the demands of the world, not from what other people are reacting on. But for us as Christians, we're expected to react on God's promises. Praise the name of the Lord. Why? Because we live by what we believe, not by what we see. The situation at stake may be telling us some stories, but because the word of God it says, I can do more exceedingly above anything man can ask and think, through the power that worketh through men. And some of that power that worketh through men is what the man believes, is the promises the man has chose to cling on and wait patiently for them to come to pass in their life. So, saints of God, it is important that we always have the promises of God whenever we attend to any situations of this life, whenever we are dealing with all circumstances of this life, we react from God's promises and not from the situation at hand. Because, saints of God, that will really prove that indeed we are not living by what we see, but we are living by what we believe. So, saints of God, what am I saying? I'm trying to say to us, life outside the Word of God is scary. And if you want to live a life of happiness, life of joy, life of freedom, sense of God, we got to cling and react on God's promises rather than on things of this world. We gotta live by what we believe, not by what we see. For our God can do all things. No plan of God can be held behind. We know that God can really change our lives, because, saints of God, He says, I know the plans that I have for you. I have plans to give you hope and good future. So, saints of God, let us be optimistic about all aspects of our lives, because we have a very good God. We have a very generous God. God who is ready, God who has blessed us, a God who wants to ensure that our needs are catered for. He says, you can ask for whatsoever you want, and I'm a faithful God. I will do anything for you which you ask by faith. So, saints of God, it is important that we ensure that we do not die on circumstances, but we continue to live on God's promises, because His promises, they give us life, they give us the desire to live. Living by what we believe give us the desire to continue to cling on the goodness of God and His promises. So, saints of God, be encouraged. Thank you.